Today we're going to do a short yoga practice for resilience. So let's start lying down. Just make yourself as comfortable as possible. So you can have your legs bent, your palms can be open. Just have a few moments of feeling a little bit more grounded. Starting to relax as much as possible the face, the back. Just let the shoulders open up. Let the lower back sink into the mat. Just let your hips feel heavy. Placing your hands on your belly and your heart area. And just take a few moments to observe how you're feeling. And that means physically, emotionally, energetically. And do this as the kind observer, so not judging yourself, just listening like a good friend. And now bringing your attention to your breath, so maybe both hands are on your belly. Just start to follow the inhale and the exhale. And as you inhale, you could think of expanding, bringing in some light to your body. And as you exhale, you could think of releasing any tension. See if you can relax the face. Good, and let's just have a nice stretch out in any way you feel. So stretching the fingers, maybe the legs a bit. Good, and then bringing the legs back, having the feet about mat width apart, and just let them rock from side to side. Windshield wipers, feeling some movement in the hips, maybe a release in the lower back. Good, and then come to center and just hug one knee in and then the other. Inhaling and exhale as we bring the knee in. If you have the flexibility, you could always extend the other leg. Good, and now hug both knees in, so feel a bit of a stretch in the lower back. Maybe rock from side to side. Good, and then come to one side to help yourself up into a seated position. Sitting on a block or a cushion to give you a bit more lift. So this can help to elongate the spine. So see if you can let the hips feel a bit heavier and the spine to feel a bit longer. Relax the shoulders. And let's place our hands in prayer and just take a moment to set an intention, a sankalpa. So usually that starts with I am. So we're planting seeds, so that could be something to do with resilience, such as I am resilient. So we say this in the present tense rather than I hope to be resilient. And just think of that as planting the seeds. It may not happen straight away, but that intention is there. So good, breathe in that intention and let's inhale and just start to reach on up, stretching out in any way your body needs. Good, and then exhale the arms down, inhaling some light in the body and then exhaling. Let's just come into a side stretch. keeping both of the hips nice and grounded. So today we're going to work on resilience with a lot of standing postures that we'll hold for a bit longer than normal, because we want to stay rooted to the ground and really work on that feeling of resilience, that we can hold a posture for a little bit longer and still keep that calm breath. Good, and let's just come into a twist, inhaling and then exhaling to twist. So think of inhaling to lift and exhale to twist. Good, so inhale and then exhale to twist. Good, and let's just rotate the wrists a bit. Spreading the fingers. And gently rotate the neck from side to side. You can always close your eyes in these postures because we really want to tune into our inner world and not our outer world. And then we'll do some shoulder rolls. So in life we always have challenges and adversities, and sometimes we need to really draw on our inner resilience, which we all have, and it's a good time to remind us of those times where we have shown that resilience in the past. Good, and then we'll come onto the mat, placing any blankets under your knees if your knees are sensitive. We'll come into some cat-cows. So everything's nice and stacked. The shoulders are over the wrists and the hips are in line with the knees. Draw in the belly, keep the neck in line with the spine. So we'll come into some cat-cows. So gently tilting the buttocks up, the belly drops, the chest rises, maybe the neck follows. And then we start to curl the tailbone, draw in the belly, let the neck come down as well. Doing this in your own time, we can use the breath to really help that movement. So inhaling as we come into our cow, the chest opens, and then exhaling, draw in the belly, round the back. So really feel into your spine, notice each vertebrae, bring that awareness into your body. Where does it feel tight? Where do you need to pay a bit more attention and maybe modify the movement? Training our awareness is crucial in yoga. Good, and let's just gently rock back and forth. Just preparing ourselves for a downward dog. Good, so let's tuck the toes. We're going to come into a bent-legged downward dog. So the hips come to the ceiling, we press through the hands. And depending on your flexibility, you can keep the legs bent, get lots of length in the spine, or you can start to let the heels descend towards the ground. They don't have to touch. Think about length in the back, breathing, and just being upside down in these inversions can give us a chance to see things in a different perspective. Good, and then we're going to slowly walk the feet to the hands, or we can come to tabletop and gradually stand up. So one vertebrae at a time. Let's just roll through the spine to come back up. Good. Let's come to the top of the mat to find our Tadasana. So lifting the toes up, spreading the toes as much as possible. We really want to get that Pada Bandha, that's that equal distribution between our feet. So we really want to feel rooted in life. So half close the eyes, think of lifting up a bit taller from the strength of your feet, coming up all through your legs, tailbone down, belly drawn in, chest is open, everything is nice and long. Hands in prayer, and just take a few moments to visualize yourself as a mountain. So that's a strong, stable mountain with things going around. That can be bad weather, storms, but there's that stability inside. See if we can tune into that. And start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, Ujjayi breath. So when we hold our postures for a bit longer, we can build up a bit of heat in the body, but we can still retain that calmness by breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And let's inhale up and then exhale down. Good. Let's inhale up and then exhale. We'll come into a gentle forward fold, so hinging from the hips, bending the knees as much as possible. You could always use a chair if you're back sensitive. And just let the body hang, maybe clasping the elbows. Gentle sway if that feels okay. Just start to let a few things spill out of the mind, let them spill out into the ground. Always remembering to breathe. Good, and then uncurling through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Let's roll the shoulders back. And then we'll come into a one-legged mountain, so challenging our balance a bit more. So we could start to just lift up the knees, so drawing in the belly, just to get used to that movement. And then we're going to come into a one-legged mountain. So the left leg, we're going to spread the feet, soft bend in the knee, and just draw up that leg, arms up to the sky. Find your drishti, that's something to focus on. So we have even more of a challenge when we come into a balance. Good, anytime you wobble, try again. Good, and then let's come to the other side. So just release the legs, spread the feet, soft bend in the knee. So engaging the belly, we're just going to draw that left leg up into our one-legged mountain. So hands can be up or they can be in prayer. So feel from the strength of that rooted leg, you can lift up. Good, well done. So now we're going to come into a bit more external rotation. So let's just open up the hips a bit more. So the hip, ball and socket joint, just like the shoulder, it can move in many directions, and we want to encourage that movement from the hip. Good. And let's just come from side to side. So getting used to the knee coming in line with the ankle. We don't want the knees to roll in. Good, and then we'll come into a warrior two. So starting a nice wide stance, foot 90 degrees turned out, the other slightly turned in. We press through that outer edge of the foot, so we're really grounding from the feet up. The knee is in line with the ankle. We can always stay here. We can start to bend that knee. So thinking about your weight in both legs equally, we're not tipping forward or back. Nice broad arms. We're going to gaze over that middle finger, and we're going to hold this posture for a bit longer. So if you need to come up a bit, that's fine. So think about that Ujjayi breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. See if you can keep that focus while you build up some heat in the legs. We have that internal resilience. Maybe saying to yourself, I am resilient. Good, and then we're going to come into an archer pose where we turn the thumbs up, we bring them together, we look at that thumb and we draw back the arrow So really sealing in that intention, just gaze of that thumb. Good, and then press through the feet to come out. Just shake the hips off, and then we'll come to the other side. So front foot turned out 90 degrees, back foot in. Check that knee isn't rolling in. Keep that knee out. Strengthen both of the legs, engage that outer edge of the back foot. And then find your warrior. Gazing through that middle finger for your intention. You're going to hold for a few breaths, so if you need to come up, that's fine. We want to keep steady and at ease in our postures. So we can just let the breath almost keep us stable when we get some heat in life, some heat in our legs. Using that intention you made, just repeat that as a mantra in your head. Good, and let's turn the thumbs up into our archer, so really drawing back that arrow. Really gaze at that thumb. As we tune into our resilience. Good, and press through the feet to come up. Excellent, well done. So now we'll come into a triangle pose. So front foot out 90 degrees, back foot in. Let's just get a bit of freedom in our hips. What we're going to think about is keeping that front shoulder back and the front hip tucks in or feels like it's going this way. So we get a bit more space in the waist. The hands can stay here, can go up. Depending on your flexibility, you may be able to go lower. What we want to avoid is rounding, so it's far better to stay here. You can always use the block here. Or if you're used to this posture, we can bring the hand down. Good. Checking you have no pain in the back. We want to avoid any pain in yoga. We want to find a position that may be challenging us muscularly, but not any compression or any sharp pains. Always modify. So breathe in here. So this will also work our balance, so we have to concentrate. So we can look at the hand or we can look down. Good, and then to come out of the pose, we're going to press through the feet to come back up. Arms down. Just give the hips a release, maybe circling them. Then we'll come to the other side. So start to get used to that motion. Shoulder back, press through the feet. We can be here, we could be here, or we could be lower. Again, really pay attention to what your body's telling you. Part of being resilient is self-care. So we must always look after our well-being and be sensible, modify and adapt. Breathe nice and steadily. And then press through the feet to exit the pose. Good, and just release the hips. Now we'll come into a wide-legged forward fold. So grounding the feet, you can always use a chair or some blocks, or you can stay high up. So first of all, let's start in a nice expansive star, just to feel that nice opening. And then we're going to have the hands on the hips, so we can stay here. We can hinge at the hips, flat back. We could use a chair or blocks. And then just let the back release over the strong legs that are holding us. So engaging the feet. And see if you can let your breath flow freely even. Inhale and exhale to release any tension. And again, imagining any mind clutter is just spilling out back into the earth so you can gain a bit more perspective. Good, and then press through the feet. We could heel toe the feet in slightly. Bend the knees as much as you need. Uncurl through the spine. Good. Now we're just going to come back down to the mat. So at the top of the mat, we're just going to inhale up, exhale down, bend the knees as much as possible into a forward fold. Then we're going to step back into a plank or a half plank. So if we're in a plank, our hands are rooted, our legs are engaged, our belly's drawn in. Half plank, the knees are down. And then we're just going to tuck the elbows in and come down to the ground. Make the legs as long as possible and come into Sphinx pose. So elbows are under the shoulders. Let the hips feel grounded, the legs feel long. Widen the legs if you have any lower back issues, or stay in crocodile pose. Let's just gently look from side to side. Good, and then hands under the shoulders. You're just going to push back into child pose. So you might want your knees nice and wide. The arms can be in front, they could be in a pillow. You could use a pillow under your head or between your thighs. Just see if you can let the buttocks sink back and start to breathe a bit more into the back of the body. You may want to roll the head slightly from side to side so you can get a nice massage in the third eye area. Good, and then slowly coming up. We're going to come straight down to the mat now. Hug one knee in and the other. Maybe circling. Good, and then we're just going to place the feet back down to come into a gentle bridge. So the knees are in line with the ankles, the palms are facing down. You're going to press through the feet, engage the legs to slowly peel the hips up, and then exhale down. Press through the feet, engage the legs, check the knees aren't splaying out. If they are, don't lift the hips as high. Don't overextend the back, draw in the belly, and then slowly release. Now we're just going to place our hands on our belly and just come into a bit of equal breathing. So firstly, notice how you're breathing at the moment. Feel the rise and the fall of the belly. See if you can relax the face as much as possible. Notice how the hands rise as the belly rises, and then they fall as you exhale. See if you can breathe in for 4. See if you can exhale for 4. Inhale for 4. And release for 4. Inhaling and exhaling. You can do this in any count. Just notice if you can sense a pause between the inhale and the exhale. So we inhale for 4, slight pause, and then we exhale for 4. And any time your mind wanders, just bring that back to the breath. Good. And any time you have any challenges in life, we can just remember to breathe. It doesn't have to be a fancy technique. Just say to yourself, breathe. And just take a few deep breaths. That can really help to just give you that pause in life. Now we're going to extend the legs out, or keep them bent if that's more comfortable, just for a few moments relaxation. Start to let the whole body relax. We're going to play some relaxing music as well, because there may be some garden sounds, which often happens in life. We have to work with what we've been given. Just see if you can relax any areas of the body that you can feel you're holding on to, possibly the neck and the shoulders and the hips. As you remind yourself of your resilience, breathing in some healing light to the body and then releasing any tension. And feel free to stay here as long as you need. If not, we're going to just roll to one side, take a breath here. And then in no rush, bringing ourselves back up into our seated position. Just think of regrounding, reconnecting with yourself. Your hands are in prayer. And just remind yourself of your intention. Breathe in and release. And then bow to yourself for taking the time to practice yoga, really helping your well-being. And thank you for practicing with us. Namaste.